In the endless expanse of the desert, where the sands whisper secrets older than memory itself, there stood a temple that existed neither in maps nor in the chronicles of men. It was here, beneath the star-kissed dome of eternity, that Seraphina first glimpsed the golden scroll that would forever alter the course of her existence. The temple's inner sanctum pulsed with an otherworldly luminescence, as though the very stones had absorbed centuries of prayer and meditation. Ancient hieroglyphs danced across the walls, their meanings shifting like shadows at dawn. At the chamber's heart lay an altar of black obsidian, upon which rested the scroll of the first light, a manuscript that seemed to glow with its own inner fire. "Do you understand what you're about to witness?" whispered the High Priestess Meret, her voice carrying the weight of countless ages. Her eyes, dark as the Nile at midnight, held depths that seemed to reflect the beginning of time itself. "This scroll contains the memory of creation's first breath and the secret of its final exhalation." Seraphina's hands trembled as she approached the altar. She had spent years preparing for this moment, studying the ancient texts, mastering the sacred languages, purifying her mind and spirit through rigorous discipline. Yet nothing could have prepared her for the profound sense of standing at the threshold between worlds. The scroll unrolled at her touch, revealing text written in letters of liquid gold that seemed to flow and reshape themselves before her eyes. As she began to read, the words penetrated not just her mind, but her very soul, awakening memories that belonged not to her lifetime, but to the collective consciousness of humanity itself. "In the beginning," the text whispered directly into her consciousness, "before the first star ignited its flame, before the void knew its own darkness, there existed only the One, the source from which all light would spring and to which all shadows would return." The chamber around her began to dissolve, replaced by visions of cosmic grandeur. She witnessed the birth of galaxies, the dance of celestial bodies, the moment when consciousness first stirred within matter. But more than this, she saw the divine blueprint, the sacred geometry that underlaid all existence, the pattern that connected every grain of sand to every distant star. "The first light was not merely illumination," continued the scroll's ethereal voice, "but awareness itself awakening to its own infinite nature. Each soul carries within it a fragment of this primordial radiance, a spark that yearns to remember its divine origin." Days passed, or perhaps centuries. Time had lost all meaning within the temple's sacred confines. Seraphina found herself drawn deeper into the scroll's revelations, each passage unveiling layers of truth that human language could barely contain. She learned of the Great Forgetting, when consciousness chose to fragment itself into countless individual experiences, each soul embarking on a journey through matter and time to ultimately rediscover its true nature. "But why?" she whispered aloud, her voice echoing through the transformed space around her. "Why would the divine choose to forget itself?" The High Priestess Meret materialized beside her, no longer appearing as an elderly woman, but as an ageless being of pure wisdom. "Because, child," she replied with infinite compassion, "love can only know itself through separation and reunion. The one became many so that it might experience the joy of finding itself again in countless forms." The scroll revealed more, the existence of the Guardians, beings who had volunteered to remain conscious throughout the Great Forgetting to guide other souls back to remembrance. These Guardians had established sacred sites across the earth, temples, pyramids, stone circles, each one a beacon designed to awaken the sleeping divine spark within humanity. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our content. And tell us in the comments where you are watching from. We would love to know. As Seraphina delved deeper into the scroll's mysteries, she began to understand her own role in this cosmic drama. She was not merely a seeker of knowledge, but a keeper of the flame, destined to preserve and share these sacred truths with those ready to receive them. The scroll showed her visions of the future, dark times when humanity would lose its way, when the material world would seem more real than the spiritual, when the first light would be nearly forgotten. But the light cannot be extinguished, the scroll assured her, only obscured by the shadows of ignorance. In every generation there arise those who remember, who carry forward the eternal flame. The weight of this responsibility pressed upon her shoulders like a mountain, yet simultaneously filled her with unprecedented purpose. She saw herself as part of an unbroken chain, stretching back to the moment of creation itself, connected to every sage, mystic, and truth-seeker who had ever lived. But with great knowledge came great peril. As Seraphina's understanding deepened, she sensed the presence of opposing forces, entities that thrived on humanity's spiritual blindness, that fed upon confusion and despair. These shadow beings had worked throughout history to suppress the light, to keep humanity trapped in cycles of fear and limitation. The final secret, whispered the scroll as its golden letters began to fade, is that the end and the beginning are one. When the last soul remembers its divine nature, when the final spark reunites with the first light, the cosmic game will be complete. Creation will have known itself fully, and a new cycle of existence will begin, one where forgetting is no longer necessary, where love expresses itself in forms we cannot yet imagine. The vision dissolved, leaving Seraphina alone in the temple chamber, the scroll now appearing as ordinary parchment beneath her hands. Yet she knew that what she had experienced was more real than any physical reality. The knowledge burned within her like a sacred fire, demanding to be shared, yet requiring the utmost discretion in its sharing. Years passed. Seraphina became a wandering teacher, moving from village to village, sharing fragments of the great truth with those whose hearts were ready to receive it. She spoke in parables and symbols, knowing that direct revelation could overwhelm minds unprepared for such profound knowledge. Some listened with hungry souls, drinking in her words like water in the desert. Others turned away, not yet ready for the burden of remembrance. In her final years, sensing the approach of her transition from this earthly form, Seraphina returned to the desert temple. The high priestess Meret was waiting for her, unchanged by the passage of time. "You have served well," Meret said, embracing her like a long-lost daughter. "The seeds you have planted will bloom in their proper season." Seraphina carefully copied the most essential teachings from the scroll of the first light onto a new manuscript, encoding them in symbols and metaphors that future generations of seekers might decipher. She placed this new scroll within a hidden chamber beneath the temple, along with instructions for its discovery when the world would be ready for its revelations. As she completed this final act, Seraphina felt a profound peace settle over her being. She understood now that her individual journey was part of something infinitely larger, a cosmic symphony in which every note, every silence, every movement contributed to a harmony beyond human comprehension. The desert wind carried her final words across the sands. "The light that was first shall be last, and the last shall be first. In the end, all paths lead home to the one who dreamed us into existence and who awakens within us even now." The temple fell silent, but the sacred fire continued to burn, waiting patiently for the next soul ready to glimpse the eternal truth hidden within the scroll of the first light. And if you like this story, you will definitely love the next one that's appearing on your screen. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, leave your like, and activate the notifications. See you in the next one, The End.